Hey everybody, it's Nick Lydorf. How you guys doing? It's Friday. It's episode 71 of Off the Clock. I've done 71 Facebook Live videos in a row. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. Please do that so you can get notified of some more videos that I'm doing. I want to talk to you and go over this website that I found. A lot of people have been giving me a lot of stuff to read about sovereign citizens and Mark Stevens and some of the stuff. So I stumbled upon this website that I want to talk with you about, and I just took a brief look at it, but I want to kind of go over it as I'm looking at it for the first time with you. And I've been a lawyer for almost 15 years, it'll be 15 years in May, and I've been doing criminal defense for that long. I've studied the Constitution. I have was on law review. I've done a lot of different research on different areas of constitutional law, and I like to give my perspective on some of these sovereign citizen arguments because they really fascinate me. And I mean, because I would love to not have to abide by any rules that we all have to follow. So I think it would be interesting to kind of learn to see if there's any truth into this. So that's kind of why I'm fascinated with sovereign citizens. And let's kind of go and delve into this website, which is called Freedom. Let's see, freedomfromgovernment.org. And there's a link in the page itself, a link in the description down below. Let me turn this off so you can look at it. And let's see here. So freedomfromgovernment.org. Government is supposed to protect rights, not grant them. Okay. There's nothing wrong with that. What initially intrigued me was, I'll probably do a couple of videos here. There's a lot to talk about here. I saw this first, competency questionnaire. So I clicked on this, and it takes you to prospective counsel competency questionnaire. Interesting. I'm a lawyer. I want to know this. What are we doing here? So he's got a picture of Better Call Saul. Nice. And then let it be known I don't recommend hiring an attorney. So yeah, every sovereign citizen that I've ever run into, all of their arguments kind of stem from the fact that they can't be represented by legal counsel, because then that makes them part of the system, right? Like there's some grand conspiracy that lawyers are part of, some conspiracy against people to wrap them into this government, I guess, that they didn't consent to, and so lawyers are the enemy. So it's really weird that this person would even advocate for hiring a lawyer, because they're part of the lawyers would be part of the system. Why would you want them anyway? So, but he does say, let it be known I don't recommend hiring an attorney, but check out this article, learn more truth about attorneys. Let's see. They are all officers of the court, and their first loyalty lies with the court and not the client. That is absolutely not true. So, I'll give you a for instance. Like, I've been in a situation where I had to withdraw from a case because a client put me in a position where I couldn't represent them any longer. But I couldn't divulge that confidence to the court. Now, I could have walked, and that was based on, my the rules of professional conduct, and so that situation kind of is a good example of that. So I couldn't divulge to the court what my client said, which was the reason why I had to not be able to represent them. So my duty was to the client first, because I had a privilege. There's privileged information in what they communicated to me. But then I could not divulge that to the court. I had to say that there's been an ethical issue that's arisen, and I can no longer represent this client based on that. I cannot divulge that. So that's absolutely incorrect. That statement that my number one loyalty is to the court. That's absolutely incorrect. I don't know. There's no evidence to back this up, but let's see. Well, here's an article. I haven't clicked on this. There's an article to you to the. Okay, this is, well, I'll go back into this one, a different one, but this one I did click on. So competent counsel questionnaire. So only if you absolutely need to, you can use the following form to see how good an attorney and what their track record looks like to evaluate them. simply print and fill out the second page and then submit it to the prospective counsel. So you're a sovereign citizen, you fill this out, you print it out, you fill it out, and then you give this to your lawyer who you haven't hired yet, but you want to hire, I guess. So there's it's 10 pages and a table of contents. I can tell you up top, if someone gave this to me and wanted me to fill it out, this has nothing to do with me being part of some grand conspiracy, but I would tell you, I have no interest in taking you on as a client. Because I'm not going to fill this out. People barely fill out intake questionnaires as it is for criminal defense. When I've met them, they barely list anything. So for me to be presented with some questionnaire that it has nothing to do with whether I'm hiding anything. It's just like there's no way I'm going to do this. So this is the table of contents, case information. So you fill this out, and then you give this other to the lawyer. So then it goes to terms of required legal services. Following represents an itemized summary of all the legal services I require. The recipient of this form need not necessarily be a licensed attorney, but may be a paralegal. Well, if you're providing legal services, you're kind of blurring the line between unauthorized practice of law, but I'm seeking an attorney and or paralegal who can act as assistants of counsel to help me with either civil or criminal litigation. The person I select must answer this questionnaire in order to establish they possess the requisite knowledge. So you're taking a test. I'm being quizzed. Not only did I achieve a degree, a Juris Doctorate from a qualified ABA accredited university. In my case, it was Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. But then now, and I also then passed the Michigan bar on my first attempt. But then now this client wants to know what if I possess a requisite knowledge to competently handle this case. They cannot and will not be considered for my defense unless they answer this questionnaire. Well, if someone handed me this, I would, if it was in paper form, I would fold it up and throw it right in the trash. So that's what I would do. Then let's see, point 4. The Sixth Amendment guarantees that I, the submitter, shall enjoy the right to assistance of counsel for my defense. I enjoy the right to be comfortable with my counsel, to have counsel with a proven track record of success, who's committed to the same moral principles that bind me, counsel who's not afraid to overcome all obstacles in getting the truth before the jury in order to win an acquittal. This may be the most severe questionnaire you've ever been asked to complete. The questionnaire is severe of necessity. Because this is a criminal case, part of my motivation is to minimize the possibility that I might have to spend time in jail. An attorney lacking in knowledge or experience would put me in danger of being unjustly convicted. Interesting. Okay. So then complete sections 4 through 6, sign section 7, and then promptly return it to you within 10 days. Interesting. Never had this happen before. No one's ever done this. No one's ever given this to me. Oh, there's a checkbox. It's like when you're in elementary school, you pass a girl a note. It's like, do you like me? Yes or no? Willingness to take on the case. Please indicate your level of willingness by checking all the following. Let's see. I'm not interested in taking the case. If I take on this case, I must represent you rather than simply act as assistants of counsel in the second chair. Okay, I agree to the terms of service in their entirety, and answers to the questions are presented later along with my signature. I would add a box right underneath number 3 and mark it number 4 and say that I'm not fucking interested at all in this nonsense. And you can hit the bricks. So that's what I would do. So page 5, paragraph 5, I guess. Ooh, it's numbered. It's all numbered like a deposition transcript. Line 2, the following questions represent interrogatory. Well, these are interrogatories. I'm sorry. I apologize. I've never had to answer interrogatories on my own. Normally, I would serve them on another party to answer, but before a client's even hired me, they're submitting interrogatories to me that I have to then answer. Let's see. What is your legal specialty training? Okay. What types of law are you interested in avoiding? I can tell you what kind of people I'm interested in avoiding, which would be people that send me forms like this. So, how long you been practicing law? 14.75 years. Let's 4 of the 5 papers or magazines that I read most regularly. I don't read newspaper. Well, I read them online. I read let's see, the New York Times, which I guess, and the Washington Post. Um, let's see, the Lansing City Pulse, which I read, which is a local newspaper, and I think that's all. That probably just checks me off the list, right off the bat. So, question 5: have you ever served in an official capacity with a state, local, or federal government? No, I have not. Let's see. Number 6: if you're chosen to if I'm chosen to assist with defending this case, you must be able to vigorously defend the client. Would this be acceptable? And do you feel that you can provide adequate defense? I haven't even met with the client yet. All I got was this ridiculous thing to fill out, so I have no idea. Let's see. Please list your law school degrees received, honors. So I graduated cum laude from Catholic University of America in Washington, D.C. And then I also graduated summa cum laude from Michigan State University. And let's see, check on the following cases with which you're familiar. Wow, okay. A lot of these, Miranda versus Arizona, obviously. Castigar, I'm familiar. Some of these are like, you don't even have to. So the thing with law is like, people think that lawyers have to have an encyclopedic knowledge of the law, and that's not really what you need. What they really can teach you in law school is how to issue spot, right? So you're presented with a set of facts, and what you can do is figure out, well, if this situation happens, then I know how to respond to it. I don't need to have some sort of encyclopedic knowledge and say, I know the exact holdings of every specific case. That's not how that works. That's like why when you take a bar exam, they're not asking you necessarily to state the case holding or the citation of the case itself. You're trying to get the main principle of it so that if you know what the issue is, then you can research it and go to the particular case and find it, and then be able to cite its holding and apply it to the case. So weird. So some of these are interesting. All right. So as defense counsel, to whom would you give your primary loyalty, prospective client or the court? So it's my client. I don't care about the court. I have to be respectful to them. I have an obligation to be truthful and honest to them when I make representations. But my primary loyalty is to my client, and that's the way being a lawyer is set up. That's not. It's interesting. How large is support staff we require? I don't. Let's assume that I don't need anybody. I've been doing this for 15 years. I've had an assistant here and there. Where did you obtain your law degree? You already asked me that. How did you rank in your class? I told you that. I was on law review. So let's see. During your study, what did you find to be the most interesting or least interesting? What does this have to do with me taking your case? Do you consider your services to be effective? What idiot is going to answer this question and say, no, I don't? What a stupid question. Am I entitled to effective assistance of counsel? Yeah, you are. During the past 5 years, how many clients have you served? Lots. I mean, wow, this is crazy. Of those clients, how many accepted some manner of deal as proposed by the opposition? I mean, there are a lot of cases just don't go to trial because, for whatever reason, to be honest with you, being a criminal defense lawyer, and I would think a lot of criminal defense lawyers would say this, is when you take on a case, it's not like Law and Order where where everyone's going to trial, because people can be pretty stupid and they talk to the police, and that's the most frustrating thing of being a criminal defense lawyer. Is like, I would love to go to trial. It's fun. It's exhilarating, but like, I can't control the facts of the case. Like, if an officer comes to someone's house, I've had so many cases where the police just ask an innocuous question after advising someone of their right to say nothing. It just, you have the right to just shut up and not say anything, which is different than other countries. Some countries you have to answer questions, but in ours you don't. But people just open their mouth, and I've watched the videos, and it's just like, oh, this is. I've gotten up to the point in the video right before the person confesses, and I'm like, whoa, we've got something here. And then they advise them of their right to remain silent, and then the person just decides to confess to everything, and it's like, shit, what am I supposed to do? So yeah, this is crazy. Okay, oh, admissions. I have to make admissions in this too. Let's see. Are you a citizen? And it's in quotation marks. This is a trick question. Let's see. Am I a citizen? Am I a Christian? What does that have to do with anything? Am I married? Please give their ages. What the fuck does this have to do with anything? No, I'm not telling you who my kids are, who I'm married to. Would you object to the prospective client's status as co-counsel? Yes, absolutely. You're not my co-counsel. If you have a law degree and you pass the bar and you're a lawyer in good standing in whatever state we're in, then I still wouldn't even probably want you as co-counsel, because if you're hiring me, then I'm going to be in control of the case. You're going to make the decisions, the important decisions, but I'm going to go and control how we get there because I'm the lawyer. You're not a lawyer, so you're not going to be co-counsel. You're not going to be, if you want to do that on your own, for shits and giggles, you want to represent yourself, have at it. And I'll be in the back watching you fail miserably because you don't know what you're doing. Just like downstairs, 3 months ago, we had a plumbing issue at our house. Did I go downstairs and try and fix it? No, because I'm not a plumber. If I did, I would make a complete mess and someone would have to come in and clean it up, which is the exact same thing that you would do if you tried to handle your case when you're not a lawyer. You would make a complete mess, and then someone would have to come in and try and clean it up. So no, you would not be a co-counsel. Are you thoroughly familiar with the state and federal rules of evidence? Admit, deny, or room for improvement? Wow. I admit that I am familiar. Are you sufficiently familiar with the body of law known as law, merchant, and international law to effectively and properly plead it under state code, federal cases, common law? I'm going to say no, because I know where this is going. I've seen enough sovereign citizen videos to know where this is going, and I will not stand up in front of a court, in front of a judge, or probably when it gets this far, part of a jury, and make some sort of gobbledygook nonsense argument about some maritime jurisdiction or anything like that. There's no way I'm doing that because it's not accurate. So, all right. Number 8, have you taken an oath or become a party to a formal or informal agreement that you will not challenge or oppose a judge or other officer on any issue? No. I don't even know what that. There's a lot to unpack there. I kind of think I talked about it earlier. My first obligation is to the client, and I don't see anything in the rules that would state otherwise. Interesting. Will you vigorously defend jury nullification in this case? So I would love to. There are some cases that prohibit making that argument, but yeah, I've tried to do that in many cases where I had absolutely nothing. So yeah, I have done that before. Are you afraid of any of the following? Are you afraid of any of the following if you do not play their game? State, federal, local law enforcement authorities, judges, magistrates, deputies, officers, mafia. The mafia is included in this. Federal Reserve Corporation or any person or entity. I think you probably could have just put any person or entity and gotten rid of the rest of those qualifiers. I'm not really afraid of anything. Let's see. Are you authorized and will you plead to the jurisdiction or the absence thereof? I mean, yeah, if there's no jurisdiction, we're gonna do that. But in a criminal case, jurisdiction is pretty easy to prove. So unless we're making up some gobbledygook nonsense, that's just my go-to word on this today. I don't know why I say gobbledygook. Some I'm gonna throw in cockamamie BS argument. So, have you had any experience with defending ORS? I don't even know. I haven't. Nope. Let's see. Have you had any experience defending these charges? I have to look up that. I don't know what that is. I'm more state practice than federal, so maybe this just wouldn't be a good fit for several reasons. Have you ever any experience? There we go. Any experience in admiralty or maritime law? Question 16. They would probably say I have to admit that because I'm always practicing in a court of admiralty and maritime jurisdiction. So this would be a trick. I don't know. And then another question 16, which is numbered incorrectly. Do you maintain a knowledge of the Constitution for the United States of America? Yes, I do. I admit that. Are you familiar with all aspects of state and federal jurisdictions? Yes, I admit. Have you ever served? Have you ever served a state or federal governmental agency in any undercover capacity? Ooh. Admit or deny, and if permitted, please state this position. Are you familiar with any factual arguments used in defense against unjust or unlawful statutory? Okay. Are you familiar with any factual arguments used in defense against unjust or unlawful statute? Oh, okay. So this is be a case where they're saying there is no victim. So how can you, in a criminal case, there is no victim. So the state's just a victim. So how can you prosecute that when there is no victim? That's interesting. But I mean, it's been roundly rejected that you can still pursue a case where there is no person that's a victim. You ever taken to support the Constitution? Yes, I have. If admit, do you believe that your oath binds you to follow the Constitution as you find it to be? Well, I base it on not just what I find it to be, but based on the interpretations of my interpretation of cases and the language used in the Constitution and cases that have interpreted it. So I can make arguments to try and expand upon that interpretation, but my interpretation of it doesn't mean jack because I'm just a lawyer. So I can make arguments. That's what lawyers do. They make arguments. So even if I don't believe someone, if I believe someone did it, that doesn't affect my zeal in representing them because that's what I took. I have to represent them to the best of my ability, and I don't really care if they did it or not. I'm trying to. I have a role within the criminal justice system to effectively and zealously represent my client. And it doesn't really matter what I think or what my opinion is or anything like that. As an attorney, have you ever been held in contempt of court? No, but pretty close. So do you believe the Fifth Amendment protects the innocent as well as the guilty? Yeah. Are you familiar with the Comprehensive Crime Control Act of 1984? Nope. Are you familiar with the Oregon Constitution? I'm not practicing in Oregon, so I have no idea what that says. Paperwork Reduction Act. I've seen some things on that. Are you familiar with the Federal Register Act? No. Belong to any secret organizations? If it's a secret organization, I'm not going to tell you, right? So have you ever taken a Masonic oath? I have not, but I would like the opportunity to know what that Masonic oath is and choose to either take it or not. Have you ever taken an oath of Kol Nidre? Got to write that down. I've never heard of that. Have you ever been prosecuted? Nope. You've taken a case of the United States Court of Appeals? No, have not. Case of the Supreme Court? Nope. Should you succeed in this case, would there be any reason for you to feel retaliatory action against you by no, because I don't believe that happens. I think people give the government way too much credit. It's just a complete miasma of disorganized BS. And it's not as organized as people think that it is. The perspective, let's see. The prospective client believes that a person has a right to deny information to the government if he fears that the government might use the information someday to harm him or his loved ones. Do you find any merit in this belief? I mean, it depends on what the information is and whether or not you're required to produce it. So there's a lot to go in there. I would need more clarification on that. Do you have a license to practice law? Obviously, this person's in Oregon. I do not, but they would probably have one in Oregon. Accused believes members and employees of the Oregon or United States government frequently combine the government's awesome power with certain statutes in order to silence, punish, or suppress their most loudest critics, their most lucid critics. Do you find merit in this belief? I mean, on rare occasions, people will act in their own self-interest. If they get caught in something, then people will want to try and silence that. But I think on a general level, I don't think that exists. So I don't know if this would be a good fit. Last page. I declare under penalty of perjury, as required under, I guess this is Oregon statute, that the answers provided by me are complete in the best of my knowledge and ability, and so help me God. I have declared that these answers are completely consistent with my understandings of the Constitution, Oregon Constitution, and the ruling of Supreme Court, but not necessarily the lower and whatever. Wow, that did it. We did it, everybody. I took that, and to be honest, I probably would fail. I don't think this person will want me as a lawyer, not because I'm not qualified, but because I don't think I can participate in the nonsense that they would want me to argue, and I would let them argue that nonsense on their own. I would not let them be co-counsel if they are not licensed to practice. I don't know what the Oregon law would be on that. I don't practice law in Oregon, but I'm assuming that you have to, unless you're actually representing yourself, you have to be a member of the State Bar of Oregon. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you guys watching all these videos. And as I delve deeper into this, and I just want to find as many like first source pieces of information so I can try and understand more of this movement of people and what they're trying to do. And the more I kind of am learning about it, it's a lot of self-interested people that are making money off of pushing this information on people. So, which is scary. But anyway, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day, and thanks.